Well, let's get more on this from Daniel Estulin. He's an investigative journalist who's written about the links between governments and those outside the law. He joins us now live in Madrid. So what do you make of Thailand's decision to hand Bout over?
It was a good evening from Madrid. It was very, very much expected. I mean, it was expected a year ago. It was a foregone conclusion that he was going to lose this case. I was on Russia Today a few months ago. I said it's just a matter of time, a question of time before he's handed over. And it's basically, I think the headline should be another black eye for Russian diplomacy. Americans 2, Russia 0. And it's very, very unfortunate, especially for all of us who love Russia as a nation and who are suffering the consequences of this loss of international prestige.
So do you think this will seriously affect then relations between Russia and the US when they're supposed to be improving?
Well, I don't think so. In the end, Victor Bout doesn't know anything. I mean, the whole idea of Victor Bout as a merchant of death is a Hollywood phenomenon. Victor Bout is not an arms merchant. He was, so he's a cargo merchant. He was a transporter. So if Americans think he actually get secrets out of him, they're very, very, very wrong.
But why?
Now,
why?
The Russians know this. The Americans know this.
Why are they so wrong?
I mean, look at this. Oh, we're going to have a show trial, or we're going to have a closed-door trial. I think probably they're going to go for the show trial because, again, it's a very useful piece, a mantelpiece, because, as I said before, Victor Bout is just a pawn of this global game where the end game is to get at Russia anyway and any means possible.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying that Victor Bout doesn't know anything. Many are saying the reason why Washington wants to get hold of him is because he knows too much. So what exactly does he know, if he does know too much? I know you disagree with that, but clearly they think he knows something.
Well, he doesn't know anything at all. He probably knows as much as you do. I mean, he was in Africa. He knows the African leaders. He was not involved in gun running. He was involved to a very small extent in shipping arms. But again, shipping arms is not illegal. It's very legal business. He was just a transporter to nations. He was transporting everything from ostriches to ostrich eggs to flowers to refrigerators. Again, he doesn't know any secrets. And unfortunately, from the American public's point of view, and after watching The Lord of War and listening ad nauseum to the American press, mainstream press, the impression that an American citizen has is you're looking at this, terrible merchant of war and of death who has all these secrets to tell. But unfortunately, he doesn't know any secrets. And when he actually goes to trial, this truth will be revealed.
When he goes to trial, will it be a fair one?
I'm sorry?
Will it be a fair trial?
I can't possibly see how it would be a fair trial because, again, Americans have spent 10 years actually trying to get at Victor Bout. They spent 2.5 years trying to get him out of prison in Thailand to the United States. And now, actually, when they have him in their grasp in the United States, if they actually put him on fair trial and he wins this case, imagine what's going to happen to the United States. They're going to turn into a laughing stock of the entire world. So, no, the trial is not going to be a fair trial. But, again, Victor Bout simply has no secrets to tell. So, in a fair trial, he would go home, but again, he won't go home because they need Victor Bout. Again, it's just a pawn in this global game to get at Russia because, again, Russia is in the way of the United States government, of these shadow powers above governments who try to, get control of the entire world. And obviously, Russia, again, I keep repeating it, but it's there the end game. And Victor Bout and the bases that the Americans are building in Afghanistan to get at Russia in the case of war, the drugs which are being shipped, the heroin from Afghanistan through Grozny into Russia, which killed 30,000 Russian youths annually. All of these pieces are in this global war to get and destroy Russia, which is, again, the only nation militarily which stands in the way of total domination of the world.
Just quickly, your reaction on the tactics employed here. It's reported that Washington offered Thai officials warplanes and military hardware to sweeten this deal for the extradition. In fact, something very similar happened in Israel, as we're reporting yesterday, when Israel was offering warplanes in exchange for a halting construction in the West Bank. Do you think this is the US here using now military strength to actually seal important political diplomatic deals such as this?
Well, it certainly, wouldn't be the first time. I mean, Russians have done this, the Americans, everybody, obviously, who needs to do this will do this. But again, you have to remember that the Victor Bout deal from the very beginning was a very foregone conclusion, especially after the wrong strategy that Victor Bout and his defensive team have chosen. And I said before, the man who was defending Victor Bout, Shamroan, his extradition lawyer, he was actually working directly for the DEA. So that only goes to show you how much Americans knew about Victor Bout's defense and how much the trial itself was a foregone conclusion. So, I mean, you can sweeten the deal, but in the end, it was right from the very beginning, they knew how the script itself was going to play out.
Daniel Estulin, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for joining us there live in Madrid. Thank you.